Rafi wiped the sweat from his brow as the sun climbed higher in the sky. The fields stretched endlessly, golden and bright, waving gently in the morning wind. Life was simple for him, a single father caring for his small farm and his young daughter. Mina every day followed a rhythm of planting, watering, and tending the animals. He loved it, but sometimes the quiet made him wonder if there was more to the world than soil and sky. That morning, as he guided his old tractor along the edge of the field, Rafi noticed a flicker of movement near the forest line. At first, he thought it was a stray animal, or perhaps the reflection of sunlight on water. But when he squinted, he realized it was something far stranger. Two small figures were crouched near the trees. They looked different from any animals he had ever seen. Their shapes were humanoid, but their skin shimmered faintly, reflecting colors he had no name for. Curiosity pulled him forward. He slowed the tractor and stepped carefully over the uneven ground. The closer he got, the more he noticed their distress. The twins were tied up with ropes, and their glowing eyes were wide with fear. They were small, barely taller than Mina, but their presence felt powerful, almost magnetic. Rafi's heart skipped. He had never seen aliens before, but these creatures could not have come by accident. Someone or something had left them here on his land. He took a deep breath, reminding himself to stay calm. He could not run from this. He could not leave them to suffer. "Hey," Rafi said softly, his voice gentle and steady. "It's okay. I won't hurt you." The twins flinched at the sound but did not run. They tilted their heads as if trying to understand him. One of them extended a small hand, glowing faintly, and Rafi felt a strange warmth in his chest. Their fear was palpable, but there was also something else trust, or at least the hint of it. He knelt slowly, careful not to scare them further. With trembling hands, he began untying the ropes. The knots were tight, and his fingers ached, but he worked patiently. The twins watched every movement, their glowing eyes never leaving him. When the last rope fell to the ground, they hesitated before stepping forward. Rafi held out his hand. The smaller twin took it first, and a spark of light ran from their hand to his. A gentle pulse that made his heart beat faster. It was not dangerous, but it was powerful and alive. Rafi had no words for this sensation. The twins stepped closer, finally letting themselves be guided toward the tractor. Back at the house, Mina was playing near the porch when she saw her father return with the glowing visitors. Her eyes widened. "Dad, what are they?" she whispered, clutching his shirt. Rafi knelt to her level, keeping his voice calm. "They need our help, Mina. They are lost and scared. We will take care of them." The twins looked around the small house with curiosity. Their eyes reflected the wooden walls, the simple furniture, and the warm sunlight spilling through the windows. They had never seen a place like this. Rafi offered them water in small bowls. They drank slowly, making soft sounds, like musical notes without words. It was strange and beautiful. The twins' language was not one Rafi could understand, but he could feel the meaning in their tones. They were grateful. They were afraid. They were alive, and they had survived something terrible to end up here. As evening approached, Rafi sat outside, the twins beside him, the farm quiet except for the soft rustle of leaves. He watched the horizon, wondering who had left them here. The sky darkened into shades of orange and purple, and the first stars appeared. Suddenly the twins moved in unison, their hands glowing faintly. They pointed toward the edge of the field, near the forest. Rafi followed their gaze and froze. In the distance, strange shapes hovered in the air. They were ships, small but menacing, their lights scanning the fields. Mina gasped. "Dad, they're coming for them, aren't they?" Rafi pulled her close, keeping his eyes on the horizon. "I think they might be, but we will protect them. I promise." The twins seemed to understand the danger. Their glow brightened, and they moved closer to Rafi. He felt their fear and their hope. They trusted him, even though they had just met him. The weight of responsibility pressed on him, but he did not falter. He had faced hard seasons, storms, and hungry animals. He could face this too. Night fell, and Rafi lit a small fire outside the house. The twins sat near it, their light mingling with the firelight, creating a gentle shimmer that made the night feel alive. Raffi explained to Mina in simple words, "We must be careful. We don't know what they want or how dangerous they are, but we will stay together. That is our strength." Mina nodded, hugging her father. The twins mimicked her gesture, placing their small hands over their chest, a strange but comforting sign of unity. Raffi smiled, feeling a bond growing stronger with each passing moment. Hours passed. The stars wheeled overhead, and the quiet of the farm was only broken by the distant hum of the unknown ships. Raffi could not sleep. His mind raced with plans and possibilities. He knew the twins had abilities, but he did not yet understand them. He wondered what they had endured and what threats were following them. But one thing was certain: he would not let them be taken or harmed. He was a father, and this was his home. Anyone who thought otherwise would have to face him. As the first light of dawn touched the fields, Raffi stood, stretching and looking at the twins. They had spent the night close to him, and for the first time he felt a spark of hope. These aliens were not just guests, they were part of a story that had chosen him, and Raffi knew, deep in his heart, that his life was about to change forever. The farm, once quiet and predictable, now held the beginning of an adventure that could stretch across worlds, and Raffi was ready to face it. The morning sun warmed the small farm, painting the fields with golden light. Raffi moved slowly, carrying water for the animals and keeping an eye on the twins. They had slept near the porch, their small bodies curled close together, their glow dim but steady. Mina was already outside helping feed the chickens, her small hands moving quickly and carefully. She looked up and waved at the twins, who returned the gesture in a shy but playful way. Raffi could not stop thinking about the night before. The ships hovering near the forest line had disappeared, but their threat lingered in his mind. Who were these twins, and why had they been left tied up on his land? He did not know, but he felt a responsibility stronger than anything he had felt before. "Dad?" Mina said softly. "They are looking at the trees again. Are they afraid?" Raffi followed her gaze. The twins were standing near the edge of the forest, their hands glowing faintly, tiny sparks floating from their fingertips. They made soft sounds, almost like whispers of wind. Raffi knelt beside them, speaking slowly. "It's okay. You are safe here. Nothing will hurt you." The twins tilted their heads, watching him carefully. Raffi noticed they were trying to mimic his gestures, lifting their hands and moving them in the same way he did. A small smile formed on his lips. Even without words, they were learning to communicate. He realized that patience and kindness could speak louder than language. Raffi decided it was time to understand them better. He guided them back to the porch and sat with them. He offered more food, fresh fruit, and warm water. The twins sniffed the food carefully, then tasted it. Their reactions were quick but gentle, showing pleasure at the simple flavors. Raffi laughed softly. "I guess you like human food." The twins made soft sounds, almost musical notes, and their hands glowed brighter with every sound. Raffi watched closely, realizing that their glowing hands were a form of expression. Each lightened movement seemed to convey emotion, happiness, curiosity, fear. He reached out slowly and touched one of their hands. A warmth spread through him, not painful, but comforting and strange. The twins leaned closer, as if encouraging the connection. Mina watched in awe. "Dad, they like you?" "They are not afraid anymore," Raffi nodded. "Yes, Mina. We are their family now, even if just for a little while. We must protect them." The morning passed slowly. Raffi worked in the fields, the twins following him carefully, mimicking his movements. They were clumsy at first, tripping over small stones, but they laughed in a soundless way that made Raffi's heart lift. He taught them how to carry small baskets, how to water the plants, and how to avoid the thorns along the fence. Each lesson brought them closer together. As the sun reached its peak, Raffi decided to test their abilities gently. He picked up a small, injured bird that had fallen from its nest and placed it near the twins. Hesitant at first, they touched it lightly with their glowing hands. To Raffi's amazement, the bird chirped and flapped its wings, fully healed. The twins stepped back, their eyes wide with surprise, then smiled softly at Raffi. "They can heal," Mina whispered. "They can make things better," Raffi nodded, understanding the importance of their gift. These twins were not ordinary beings. They carried power, but it was tempered with innocence and trust. He felt a surge of pride and protectiveness. He was not just a farmer anymore. He was a guardian of something extraordinary. Evening came, and the sky turned soft shades of pink and orange. Raffi decided to show the twins the small pond near the edge of his property. He carried them carefully, their small hands gripping his shoulders. When they reached the water, they gasped at their reflection, touching the surface and sending ripples across the pond. Their light shimmered in the water, creating tiny stars that floated and danced. Raffi laughed softly. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" The twins nodded eagerly, their glowing hands tracing patterns over the water. Raffi watched, amazed at their curiosity and wonder. He realized that they saw the world differently, with eyes that could find magic in the smallest things. He wondered if humans had once seen the world this way too, before life became simple routines and chores. That night, Raffi built a small barrier around the house, using wooden stakes and rope. He wanted to create a safe space for the twins, while also teaching Mina about vigilance and care. The twins watched intently, helping him lift the stakes and tie the ropes. Their cooperation and quick learning impressed him. They were smart, fast, and aware. Yet their expressions remained innocent and kind. As darkness fell, a distant hum returned. The ships were back, hovering silently over the forest. Raffi's heart raced, but he kept his voice calm. "Stay close to me. We can face this together." The twins' hands glowed brighter, as if responding to his words. Raffi realized that their light could be more than expression. It could be used for protection. He held out his hand, and the twins followed, forming a small circle of glowing warmth. He felt their energy mingle with his own determination, and a strange confidence settled in his chest. The ships moved closer, scanning the land. Raffi could see the shadows of figures inside, observing the twins. He whispered to Mina, "They are looking for them, but we are ready." Hours passed in tense silence. Raffi could hear the soft rustle of leaves and the distant calls of nocturnal animals. The twins stayed near him, their glow dimming slightly, but never disappearing. Mina fell asleep against his shoulder, exhausted from the long day. Raffi remained awake, watching the forest and the hovering ships. Thinking of plans and possibilities, he could not let fear control him. He was a human, and humans had survived impossible challenges. He remembered the hard winters, the droughts, and the storms. He remembered the times he had protected Mina from danger with nothing but his courage and wit. This was no different, only larger, more extraordinary. As the first light of dawn touched the fields again, ships withdrew slightly, scanning the horizon one last time. Raffi breathed a quiet sigh of relief. The twins stirred, their glow returning to a soft, gentle shimmer. They reached out to him and Mina, silent gesture of gratitude and trust. Raffi knelt to their level and spoke softly, "We will stay together. Nothing will take you from us. You are safe here." The twins responded by tracing small patterns in the air with their glowing hands, forming shapes that resembled hearts and stars. Raffi smiled, understanding that they had begun to communicate in a new language. One of light and trust. Mina laughed quietly. "Dad, they are like little stars. They shine when they are happy." Raffi nodded, feeling a warmth in his chest that had nothing to do with the sun. He knew this was only the beginning. The twins had chosen him, and he had chosen them. Together, they would face whatever challenges came next, and deep inside, Raffi felt a spark of hope. He was a simple farmer, but he had the heart of a protector. The twins had arrived in his life for a reason, and he was ready to discover what that reason was. The farm, once quiet and predictable, was now alive with light and life. And Raffi knew, without doubt, the bonds formed here would carry them through dangers that no human had faced before. This was the start of a story that would reach beyond the fields, beyond the stars, and beyond the limits of ordinary courage. And Raffi was ready to face it all. The next morning, Raffi woke before sunrise. The farm was quiet except for the soft calls of birds and the rustle of leaves in the wind. Mina was still asleep, curled under a warm blanket near the porch. The twins sat near the pond, their hands glowing faintly as they traced patterns on the water. The light danced across the surface, casting reflections that made the morning feel magical. Rafi knew today would not be peaceful. The ships had returned the night before, and the shadows he saw inside them had left no doubt in his mind. Whoever had left the twins tied up on his land would not give up easily. He had to prepare. He knelt beside the twins. "We need to stay alert today. They might come back." The twins looked at him, their eyes wide but trusting. They did not speak, but their hands glowed brighter, as if understanding his words. Rafi decided to teach them how to hide. He led them toward the small hills at the edge of his farm. "You can move fast, but stay low. Use the land to protect yourselves. Trust your senses." The twins followed his instructions carefully, moving in unison as they crouched behind bushes and stones. They were quick learners, and Rafi was impressed. In a few hours, they could vanish from sight almost completely, their small bodies blending with the environment. Mina woke and joined them, her eyes bright with curiosity and determination. "I want to help too," she said. Rafi smiled and nodded. "You are part of this team, Mina. We must all protect each other." As the day grew hotter, Rafi worked in the fields, while keeping one eye on the forest line. He noticed subtle movements, branches bending without wind, shadows shifting unnaturally. The twins' senses were sharper than his own. They paused often, staring toward the trees and pointing with glowing hands. Their gestures were warnings, signals of approaching danger. By late afternoon, the threat became clear. Dark shapes moved among the trees, almost floating above the ground. The ships were smaller this time, more numerous, and their lights scanned the fields methodically. Rafi felt a surge of fear, but did not show it. Fear would only slow him down. He had faced storms, fires, and sickness. And he knew courage was not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. The twins responded to the approaching danger in a way that amazed him. Their hands glowed brighter, creating small flashes of light that danced across the grass. The light seemed to push back against the shadows, illuminating the land around them in bursts of brilliance. Rafi realized that their abilities were not just for healing or expression. They could also be a defense. He called Mina closer. "Stay near me. Watch the twins. Learn what they can do." Mina nodded, gripping his shirt tightly. The first of the intruders emerged from the forest. They were tall, armored figures with strange, elongated limbs. Their eyes glowed faintly under their helmets, and they moved silently, but with clear intent. Rafi counted 3 at first, but more kept appearing from the trees. He knew he had to act fast. He looked at the twins. "Now," he said softly. The twins' hands flared with light, sending a wave across the clearing. The intruders staggered as if the brightness caused pain, and they paused, scanning for the source. Rafi moved quickly, guiding the twins behind rocks and small hills, keeping them protected while observing the enemy. He picked up a simple farming tool, a long wooden rake, and held it firmly. He was outnumbered and outgunned in every sense. But he had something stronger: his wits, his knowledge of the land, and the determination to protect those who could not protect themselves. The intruders advanced cautiously. Clearly unaware of the terrain, Rafi used this to his advantage. He triggered simple traps he had prepared, hidden pits covered with branches, ropes stretched across narrow paths, and small rocks that could be rolled to create noise and confusion. Every move bought time and kept the twins safe. The twins reacted instinctively. They sent out small pulses of light that startled the intruders, causing some to retreat momentarily. Rafi realized that even without understanding their full power, the twins' abilities could complement his strategies perfectly. Minutes felt like hours. The sun dipped lower, casting long shadows across the field. Rafi noticed the intruders adapting, moving more carefully, their glowing eyes scanning every movement. He knew this was only the beginning. The twins were brave, but they were still young and vulnerable. He had to protect them until he understood the full extent of their powers. Rafi whispered to the twins, "Follow my lead. Stay calm. trust each other." They nodded, their small hands glowing, and moved in unison behind him. Their energy gave him courage. He realized that humans were not the only beings capable of resilience. But there was something unique about human determination. Even in the face of fear, he refused to surrender. As the intruders closed in, Rafi noticed something unexpected. One of the twins raised their hands higher, and a beam of concentrated light shot forward, striking the nearest intruder. The figure stumbled backward, shielding its eyes. Another pulse of light followed, disorienting the remaining attackers. Rafi felt a surge of pride. The twins were learning to use their abilities in coordination with him. He decided to take the offensive. Using the terrain to his advantage, he led the intruders into a narrow path between the hills. Rocks and branches slowed them down, while the twins' light pulses created confusion. Rafi could see their frustration, but he did not falter. He had survived storms and hunger, and he would survive this. The intruders retreated temporarily, regrouping near the edge of the forest. Rafi knew it was only a matter of time before they returned, but he also saw an opportunity. The twins were gaining confidence, their glow stronger, their movements more precise. He realized that if they worked together, they could turn the tables. He turned to the twins. "We can do this. Together, we are stronger than they think." The twins responded with a synchronized pulse of light, almost like a heartbeat. Rafi felt their energy merge with his own determination. It was a moment of unity, a bond formed not through words, but through shared courage and trust. Night approached, and the intruders disappeared into the shadows, at least for now. Rafi led the twins back to the house, checking traps and fortifying their small refuge. Mina watched silently, understanding that danger had not passed. She stayed close, her small hands holding Rafi's as they entered the house. Rafi sat by the twins and spoke softly. "They will come again, but we are ready. You are safe here with us." The twins' glow dimmed slightly, as if they understood the meaning of his words. They rested near the fire, their small bodies curled together. Rafi watched them carefully, thinking about the future. He knew this was only the beginning. The intruders were persistent, and the twins' abilities, though impressive, were still developing. He looked at Mina, her eyes wide with understanding. "We must be brave. We must protect them no matter what." Mina nodded, her small voice firm. "I will help, Dad. I am not afraid." Rafi smiled, feeling a surge of hope. Humans were not invincible, but they were resilient, inventive, and courageous. He had faced challenges alone before, but now he had a team, a family. The twins and Mina had chosen to trust him, and he had chosen to protect them. That trust was stronger than any fear, stronger than any threat. As the stars appeared in the night sky, the farm was quiet once more. Rafi stood outside, looking toward the forest, ready for whatever would come next. He knew the intruders would return, but he also knew that courage, determination, and human ingenuity could face any challenge. The twins glowed softly beside him, their light blending with the moonlight. Rafi felt a bond forming that was stronger than fear, stronger than distance or power. They were not just his responsibility, they were his family, and together, they would face the unknown. The threat was real, but so was the strength of a human heart. The sun rose slowly over the farm, casting a warm glow across the fields. Rafi moved quietly, checking traps and keeping an eye on the horizon. The twins sat near the small pond, their hands glowing softly as they practiced creating light patterns. Each pulse of their hands made the water shimmer, reflecting tiny sparks that danced across the grass. Rafi felt the weight of responsibility pressing on his shoulders. But he refused to let fear guide him. He had faced challenges before: storms, sickness, hunger, and he knew the strength of human determination. Today, that determination would be tested in ways he had never imagined. Mina joined him near the house, carrying a small basket of food. "Dad," she said softly, "they are ready. The twins are strong, but we must be careful." Rafi nodded. "Yes, Mina, today will not be easy, but we are ready. Together, we can face anything." By mid-morning, the intruders returned. Their ships hovered low above the trees, their lights scanning the fields. The armored figures emerged, moving with purpose toward the twins. Raffi's heart raced, but he kept his voice calm. "Stay close. Follow my lead. We will protect them." The twins responded immediately, their hands glowing brighter. Raffi noticed their light pulsing in rhythm with his own heartbeat. It was as if they could sense his determination and use it as energy. He felt a surge of hope. The intruders advanced, confident and silent. Raffi knew they underestimated him. They assumed he was just a human farmer, unprepared and vulnerable. They did not know the strength of a human spirit, nor did they understand the courage that could come from protecting those who could not protect themselves. Raffi led the twins toward the small hills near the forest edge. He had prepared traps overnight, using logs, ropes, and stones to create obstacles. The intruders stumbled as they entered the area, surprised by the sudden challenges. Raffi took a deep breath. "Now, twins, help me." The twins raised their hands, sending pulses of light toward the intruders. The brightness made the attackers pause, shielding their eyes. Raffi used the distraction to roll rocks down the hill, creating noise and further confusion. One of the intruders tripped, and another collided with a hidden log. Mina watched from a safe distance, her eyes wide with amazement. "Dad, they are amazing," she whispered. "You all are amazing?" Raffi smiled, feeling a mix of pride and relief. The twins' abilities complemented his strategies perfectly. He realized that courage and intelligence could overcome strength and technology. Humans had survived countless challenges by adapting, thinking, and refusing to give up. Today, that human strength was shining brighter than ever. The intruders regrouped, their glowing eyes scanning for the source of the light attacks. Raffi knew they would not retreat without a fight. He whispered to the twins, "We must be clever. Use the terrain. Stay calm. We are stronger together." The twins responded with a synchronized pulse of light. Raffi felt their energy merging with his own resolve. He led them through narrow paths between hills and dense bushes, using the land to their advantage. The intruders struggled to keep up, slowed by obstacles and confused by sudden bursts of light. Raffi picked up a long wooden pole and used it to trip one of the intruders, sending them stumbling into a hidden pit. The twins followed, using their glowing hands to create blinding flashes that disoriented the others. It was not brute force that won the day, but strategy, intelligence, and unity. Minutes passed like hours. The intruders pressed forward, but Raffi refused to yield. He remembered his life as a farmer, surviving harsh winters and scorching summers. He remembered raising Mina alone, teaching her resilience and kindness. Those lessons were guiding him now. Suddenly, one of the twins sent a concentrated beam of light toward the largest intruder. The figure staggered, shielding its eyes. Raffi seized the moment, pushing a large stone from above. It rolled down the hill, striking another intruder and sending them tumbling into a trap of ropes and branches. The intruders hesitated, realizing that the human and the twins were more formidable than they had anticipated. They were not invincible, but they were clever, adaptable, and united. Raffi could feel the shift in their confidence. He shouted to the twins, "Now, push them back." Together, the twins focused their energy, sending a wave of light that radiated across the field. The intruders were forced to retreat, blinded and disoriented. Raffi led them toward the remaining obstacles, using every trick he had prepared. Rocks, traps, and sudden flashes of light worked in harmony. Mina joined him, carrying a small lantern that Raffi had modified. She used it to create shadows that confused the intruders further. The teamwork between the human and the twins was seamless. A combination of intelligence, courage, and trust. By evening, the intruders withdrew into the forest. Their ships lifted into the sky, scanning the fields one last time before disappearing beyond the horizon. Raffi watched them go, his chest heaving with relief. The twins glowed softly, exhausted, but safe. Mina clung to him, her small face lit with admiration and pride. Raffi knelt beside the twins. "You were brave. You helped protect yourself and each other." "You are safe now." The twins responded by creating small shapes of light in the air, resembling stars and hearts. It was their way of saying thank you, of showing trust and connection. Rafi smiled, understanding the meaning even without words. He looked at Mina. "You were amazing today. You stayed calm, you followed instructions, and you helped. That is what makes us strong." Mina nodded, her eyes shining. "We are a team, Dad, all of us." Rafi felt a warmth in his chest, a deep sense of pride. Humans were not just strong physically, but they were strong in spirit. The determination to protect those who could not protect themselves, the willingness to adapt, and the courage to face overwhelming odds, that was human strength. As night fell, Rafi fortified the house and checked the traps again. The twins rested near the fire, their glow dimming but steady. Mina slept peacefully beside him, tired but safe. Rafi stood outside, looking toward the forest. The intruders were gone for now, but he knew they could return. Still, he felt no fear. Humans had survived impossible challenges for centuries. They had faced natural disasters, fierce animals, and rival tribes. They had adapted, learned, and fought with courage. That courage lived in him now, guiding every decision, every movement, and every thought. The twins' glow pulsed gently in the night. Rafi placed a hand on each of their heads, feeling the warmth and energy radiate. "You are not alone," he whispered. "We are together, and together we are strong." The stars above twinkled as if in agreement. The farm, once quiet and predictable, was now alive with courage, energy, and hope. Rafi knew this was only the beginning of their journey, but he also knew that no matter what challenges lay ahead, humans could rise to meet them. He turned back to the house, taking Mina's hand. "Tomorrow, we prepare again. But tonight, we rest. We have shown what we are capable of, and we will continue to protect each other." The twins nestled near the fire, their light soft and comforting. Rafi felt a sense of unity he had never experienced before. It was more than survival, it was connection, trust, and the courage to face the unknown. And Rafi knew, deep in his heart, that humans had a strength that could change the course of events, even against forces far greater than themselves. The farm was quiet under the stars, but Rafi, Mina, and the twins were ready. Together, they would face whatever came next, proving that courage, intelligence, and unity could overcome any threat. This was humanity at its best, and Rafi felt proud to be a part of it. The morning sun broke over the horizon, spilling warm light across the farm. Rafi rose early, alert and ready. The events of the past days had changed him. He was no longer just a farmer. He was a protector, a guardian of the twins who had come into his life in the most unexpected way. Mina stirred beside him, her eyes bright with determination. She had grown braver with each challenge. Learning quickly from her father's example, the twins sat near the pond, their small hands glowing faintly, moving in gentle patterns over the water. Their energy had grown stronger, more controlled, and more purposeful. They had survived attacks, learned to protect themselves, and trusted Rafi completely. Rafi knew that today might bring the final confrontation. The intruders were persistent and would not give up easily, but he was ready. He had the land, the twins, and his courage. Most importantly, he had the belief that humans, no matter how ordinary they seemed, could rise to meet extraordinary challenges. He gathered Mina and the twins. "Today," he said softly, "we show them what we are made of. We protect our home, and we protect each other. Stay close, watch each other, and trust your instincts." The twins responded with a synchronized pulse of light, a sign of their readiness. Mina nodded, gripping her father's hand tightly. They were a team, united by trust and courage. By mid-morning, the intruders appeared once more. Their ships hovered low above the forest, their lights scanning the fields with precision. Rafi counted them carefully, noting their movements. They were organized, more disciplined than before, but he had learned their weaknesses. He had seen their reactions to the twins' light, their hesitation in tricky terrain, and their underestimation of human determination. Raffi whispered to the twins. "Stay ready. Wait for my signal." The intruders advanced steadily, stepping carefully over the traps Raffi had prepared. But he knew the twins' abilities could create a distraction and give them an advantage. He nodded to the twins, and their hands flared with bright light. The intruders staggered, shielding their eyes. Raffi led Mina and the twins into a narrow valley between two small hills. Rocks, trees, and uneven ground made it difficult for the intruders to move quickly. Raffi used every bit of his knowledge of the land to guide them, staying one step ahead of the attackers. The twins' light pulses were sharper now. They created bursts that blinded and confused the intruders. Raffi used the chaos to push obstacles down the slopes, slowing the enemy. Mina helped too, carrying a small lantern and using it to create moving shadows that made the intruders hesitate. The battle was not about strength. It was about strategy, unity, and the human spirit. Raffi's heart pounded, but he remained calm, guiding his small family with patience and courage. He realized that humans had survived impossible challenges because of their intelligence, adaptability, and determination. Today, that spirit shone brighter than ever. Suddenly, one of the twins raised their hands high. A concentrated beam of light shot forward, striking the nearest intruder. The figure staggered, then fell backward, blinded temporarily. Raffi used the moment to guide the remaining intruders toward a series of traps. Rocks tumbled, ropes tightened, and branches tripped the attackers. The intruders realized they were facing more than a simple human and two small beings. They were facing a family united by trust, courage, and ingenuity. Raffi shouted to the twins, "Now, push them back." The twins focused their energy, sending a wave of light that radiated across the valley. The intruders were forced to retreat, struggling to keep up with the clever obstacles and blinding light. Raffi led them skillfully, using every trick he had learned as a farmer and protector. By late afternoon, the intruders began to retreat toward the forest. Their ships lifted into the sky, scanning the fields one last time before disappearing beyond the horizon. Raffi, Mina, and the twins stood together, exhausted but victorious. Raffi knelt beside the twins. "You were brave," he said softly. "You trusted me, and you protected yourselves. You are safe now," the twins responded, by tracing shapes in the air with their glowing hand stars, hearts, and circles. It was their way of saying thank you and showing trust. Raffi smiled, feeling a deep sense of connection. Mina hugged her father and the twins. "We did it together," she said proudly. "We are strong when we work as a team." Raffi nodded, feeling warmth in his heart. Humans were not only capable of courage and intelligence, but they could also inspire loyalty, trust, and bravery in others. He realized that his life as a simple farmer had prepared him for this moment. He had faced storms, hunger, and danger before. But now he had faced something extraordinary and triumphed. As evening fell, a strange sound echoed across the fields. Raffi looked up to see a small device glowing near the twins. It vibrated softly, sending patterns of light into the sky. The twins touched it carefully, and a series of images appeared above the farm ships. People and signs of life from a distant world. The twins had called for help from their people. Raffi watched as the distant ships approached, sleek and graceful, hovering above the farm without threat. The aliens landed near the edge of the property, their presence calm and purposeful. Raffi stepped forward slowly, holding Mina's hand. The twins moved beside him, their glowing hands steady. The alien visitors regarded them carefully, then turned their attention to Raffi. One of the aliens stepped forward, speaking in a language Raffi did not understand. The twins responded, translating through gestures and light patterns. Raffi realized that they were expressing gratitude, honoring his courage, and acknowledging the protection he had given to the twins. The alien leader approached Raffi. Through gestures and images, it became clear the aliens recognized humans as a species capable of great courage, ingenuity, and compassion. They had underestimated humans before, but Raffi's actions had changed that perception. Raffi bowed slightly, feeling a sense of pride. "I did what anyone would do," he said softly. "I protected those who could not protect themselves." The alien leader extended a small device toward Raffi. It was a gift, a symbol of gratitude. Rafi accepted it, understanding that it represented trust, alliance, and recognition of human strength. The twins glowed brightly, their small hands pulsing with energy, as if sharing their joy. Mina hugged Rafi tightly. "Dad, they came because of you," she whispered. "Because you protected them." Rafi smiled, feeling a deep sense of fulfillment. Humans were not only survivors, they were guardians, protectors, and capable of extraordinary deeds. Courage, determination, and compassion were what made them strong. The aliens departed slowly, twins waving goodbye with glowing hands. Rafi and Mina watched them rise into the sky, their light fading into the distance. The farm returned to its quiet, simple life. But the memory of the events would remain forever. Rafi turned to Mina. "Life will continue here, but remember this lesson. Humans are capable of more than we think. Courage, intelligence, and kindness can overcome even the greatest challenges." Mina nodded, her eyes shining with understanding. "I will remember, Dad. We are strong when we stand together." Rafi looked across the fields, the warm glow of the setting sun reflecting off the crops. He felt a deep connection to the land, to his family, and to the small beings who had trusted him. He realized that human strength was not just physical. It was the heart, the mind, and the will to protect, to endure, and to rise against impossible odds. The farm was peaceful once more. But Rafi knew the universe held countless challenges and mysteries. Still, he felt ready. Humans had faced storms, hunger, disease, and conflict for generations. They had survived through courage, cleverness, and compassion. That spirit lived in him, in Mina, and in every human who dared to care and to act. As night fell and stars appeared above the farm, Rafi knelt beside the twins one last time. "You are safe," he whispered. "We will always protect those in need. That is who we are." The twins glowed softly, their hands pulsing gently like tiny stars. Mina held Rafi's hand, and together they looked at the sky, feeling the connection between worlds, the strength of trust, and the courage of humans. The story of a simple farmer, his brave daughter, and two extraordinary twins had proven something remarkable. Humans were more than ordinary beings. They were protectors, innovators, and heroes when faced with impossible odds. Rafi smiled, knowing that the future, no matter how uncertain, could be faced with courage, intelligence, and a heart that never gave up. The farm was quiet under the stars, but the memory of their courage would shine forever. Humans had shown the universe what they were capable of, and Rafi knew, deep in his heart, that together, humans and those they chose to protect could face any challenge and rise stronger than before.